That's all you deserve. My mother didn't say it with anger. She said it with a smile, the kind of smile a person gives a stray dog they've decided not to feed. She pressed a $500 check into my palm while, 10 feet away, my sister Meredith posed for photos in front of a $250,000 wedding reception. I was standing in the corner of a Ritz Carlton ballroom, wearing an $89 dress, holding the price tag of my worth in my family's eyes. But that check isn't why I walked out that night. It was what she said to the man standing next to me. The man she called a dead end. The man who, 2 years later, would help me build everything she swore I'd never have. My name is Sienna Hewitt, and if you've ever been the black sheep, or the child who was never quite enough, this story is for you. Before we get into the night the leash finally snapped, hit that like button and subscribe. It helps us tell more stories of justice and self-worth. Also, let me know in the comments. Have you ever had a moment where you realized the people meant to love you were actually the ones holding you back? Part 1. The ranking system. I grew up in Glastonbury, Connecticut. It's the kind of town where the lawns are so perfectly manicured they look like plastic, and the secrets are buried deeper than the swimming pools. My family, the Hewitts, were the gold standard. From the outside, we were a catalog cover. From the inside, we were a corporate hierarchy, and I was at the very bottom. My sister, Meredith, was the blueprint. Straight A's, captain of the lacrosse team, Johns Hopkins graduate. My mother, Diane, was a former nurse who never made it to med school, so she poured her frustrated ambition into Meredith like concrete into a mold. Meredith didn't just meet expectations. She became a weapon my mother used to make everyone else feel small. Then there was me. I was the artist. In my house, creative was a code word for unreliable. I remember winning a regional art contest in high school. I brought the ribbon home, and my mother looked at it like it was a coupon for a store she'd never shop at. She put Meredith's lacrosse trophies in the glass display case in the foyer. My ribbon. It went into a shoebox under my bed. Part 2. The $18,000 leash. After college, I got a job. It wasn't saving lives like Meredith the dermatologist, but I was proud of it. A junior marketing role in Hartford, making $38,000 a year. Because the commute was brutal, my parents generously co-signed on an $18,000 used Honda Civic for me. But in the Hewitt household, a gift isn't a gift. It's a leash. Every time I pushed back on my mother's coldness, every time I didn't show up for a family dinner because I was working late, she'd remind me, "Don't bite the hand that co-signed your life, Sienna." My father, Gerald, would just sit there, hiding behind his Wall Street Journal, nodding like a bobblehead. "Your mother has a point," he'd mumble, never once looking me in the eye. Part 3. The dead end. Then I met Marcus. He was a freelance UX designer I met at a coffee shop. He was self-taught, driven, and had been on his own since he was 18. He didn't have a pedigree, but he had a budget spreadsheet taped to his fridge and a heart of gold. When I introduced him to my mother, she didn't even stand up. She looked at his freelance status and said, "So, neither of you has a real job." Contrast that with Meredith's fiancé, Trent. He was an orthopedic surgeon from old money. At their engagement party, my mother pulled me aside and whispered, "Meredith found a partner who matches her ambition. You found one who matches your situation." I watched Marcus's jaw tighten. He heard it. He didn't say anything, but I saw the fire start to burn in his eyes. 5 weeks before Meredith's wedding, Marcus proposed to me in our tiny apartment over a plate of pasta. No cameras, no $50,000 ring. Just us. When we told my family, my mother didn't even look at the ring. She just asked Meredith if the orchids for the Ritz had been confirmed. Part 4. The Ritz Carlton breakdown. The day of Meredith's wedding was a $250,000 display of ego. I was assigned to the guest book table, a job usually given to a distant cousin or a teenager. I was shoved in a corner, out of the photos, wearing an $89 Nordstrom rack dress. During the reception, I finally cornered my mother. I asked her a simple question. Will you help me and Marcus with our wedding the way you helped Meredith? That's when it happened. She pulled me toward the bar, near the guests, and pressed that $500 check into my hand. That's all you deserve, she whispered. Then, she turned to Marcus, who had walked up behind me. With a smile that could cut glass, she said, I hope you aren't expecting us to fund your wedding too. We don't invest in dead ends. The silence that followed was deafening. I felt something inside me crack. Not break. Crack open. Like a seed finally splitting. We walked out that night. No scene, no shouting. Just a clean exit. Part 5. The Great Refinance. The next morning, while my phone was blowing up with texts from Meredith calling me jealous and dramatic, Marcus and I were at our kitchen table. I need to get them off my car title, I said. Now. Marcus already had the paperwork pulled up. My credit score was a shaky 680, but a local credit union took a chance on me. The interest rate was higher, but the freedom was priceless. When the paperwork cleared, I sent one email. The loan is in my name only. You are no longer responsible for me. Thank you for the start. Goodbye. We packed the Civic and drove 1,700 miles to Austin, Texas. We had $4,200 in our savings and an air mattress that leaked air by 3 a.m. Part 6. Building the Empire. Austin wasn't easy. I worked 40 hours a week as a barista while spending my nights building Hewitt Creative. I started with $200 logo gigs. I ate more beans and rice than I care to admit. But I had something my sister didn't. I had to survive. I met a mentor, Lorraine Voss, who told me I was pricing myself like an amateur. You're telling people you don't believe in your value, she barked. I listened. I registered my LLC. I started pitching boutique hotels. Within a year, Hewitt Creative went from a kitchen table dream to a $400,000 a year agency. By year 2, we hit $2.1 million. I wasn't just drawing pictures anymore. I was building brands that changed the city's skyline. The revenge didn't happen in a courtroom. It happened at the J.W. Marriott during the Austin Business Journal's 40 Under 40 Gala. I was there to receive an award. I was wearing a custom-tailored red blazer, standing next to Marcus in a suit he actually owned. What I didn't know was that Meredith and Trent had recently moved to Austin, and Trent's hospital was a sponsor of the event. When the MC called my name, Sienna Hewitt, founder and CEO of Hewitt Creative, with revenue exceeding $2 million, the room erupted. I walked to the stage and looked out. And there, at table 22, was my mother. She was visiting Meredith. She looked like she'd seen a ghost. Her champagne glass was frozen halfway to her mouth. I didn't scream at her. I didn't mock her. I got to the microphone and said, "Legacy isn't what you inherit. It's what you build when the people who are supposed to believe in you tell you that you're a dead end." The look on her face was worth more than the $250,000 she spent on Meredith's wedding. Meredith's perfect life eventually crumbled. The $250,000 house was sold at a loss, and her surgeon husband ended up being a serial cheater. She's now living in an 800-square-foot apartment, finally learning how to pay her own bills. My mother still tries to call me, but now, the power dynamic has shifted. I don't need her investment. I am the investment. If this story taught you that your value is determined by you, and not by a check in a thin envelope, smash that like button. It helps us keep the lights on and the stories coming. Tell me in the comments, what's the best success is the best revenge moment you've ever had?